Good morning, or good evening, everyone. Sorry I'm late tonight. Of course, I was helping Grandpa take care of stuff he needed help with. But we got a lot of news to talk about. A lot of stuff is happening in the world really quick, all at once. From food shortages looming to food shortages already occurring. Sri Lanka, of course, appeals for farmers to planting more rice. Africa warns of extreme food shortages. The IMF management director is warning that extreme food shortages are coming. They are happening around the globe. It's not just here in the US. This is a global problem at this point. And the questions and concerns are constantly of what's going to happen and what's going to be next. I mean, Ukraine war, of course, and Russia's blockade is causing problems. But yet the U.S. is ready to ban or implement a ban on goods from China on June 22nd. They're banning, or of course, they're going to ban cotton produced or cotton coming from there, and much of the world's solar panels come from there as well. This will be huge. This will be a huge problem if we don't get the goods that we usually buy from China. If we ban them from coming in our country, we are left with literally nothing. This is Biden's big plan. We are seeing it in action. People are facing these problems. Food issues, and Biden is going to start problems elsewhere. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Linda. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Sandra. Hi, William. Hello, Wanda. Hello, Nana. Hello, Brian. Hello, Tia. Hello, Sabrina. Hello, Dana. Danette. Sorry. Or Dana. Linda. Susie. How you guys doing tonight? Hi, Karen. Hi, Linda Taylor. Hi, Joe. Food is going to get more expensive on the way. Of course, we're looking at this ban from U.S. markets. Of course, Biden is saying it's a safeguard the U.S. markets from products and potentially tainted by human rights abuse. I don't know if you guys know what's happening because this is not talked about here in the U.S. China has, not just China, but other countries have claimed the U.S. have directly violated human rights abuses everywhere within our prison system, which we do. I'm not going to say our prisons are not out of control when inmates are literally starving or going without everything. Yeah, medication shortage will be a big issue. This is going to be a huge issue with everything. Everything we buy or everything we go to get from the store, try to find something that does not say made in China. Of course, the time frame on this is the 22nd. June 21st will be the last day. Of course, the resources will come in. The question is, are we ready to implement this? Are we truly ready to implement this? Of course, they think we are, but importers will have the option to re-export prohibited cargo back to the original or origin country. An exemption presumed must be granted by, of course, Congress. This whole thing will be ridiculous. It is a huge problem. We're already having shortages. Oil prices are going through the roof because now the EU has officially cracked down on Russian oil. We're seeing gas prices up to $8 a gallon already in some places. And it's just going to go higher. And as gas prices cripple our economy, everything else will be impacted as well. I mean, the national gas average showed on Monday, before the pullback, was 462. Now it's 52. That's 52% higher than last year. This is a pressure point on inflation, quickly choking out our spending and flattening out any kind of economic curve. What are you going to do when gas prices are the price of minimum wage? Because that's what's coming. Most states, or some states, they're already to that point because minimum wage has not been raised. Shelling out more than $6 or $6 a gallon in most places. It is just ridiculous. It's just getting started, literally. We are just getting started with all these sugar impacts, of course, will be felt soon, as India has stopped all exports of sugar till next year. And there's the major sugar producer in the world. As we know, we're short on wheat, we're short on rice, we're short on everything at this point. But yet, the UN agreed Monday to curtail its use of Russian oil within months and said it would cut roughly 90% of oil imports to member nations. 90% of their oil now is going to be bought from the same place we try to buy our oil from, and they don't plan on producing any more. Michigan produces sugar. Oh boy. I don't think you realize how much sugar the world uses. I don't think you realize it. Yeah, here in Florida, we're expecting a tropical storm to come through, or tropical wave, later this week. That'll have more impacts on fuel prices. As hurricane season is just getting started, you know what happens every hurricane season. Fuel prices jump a couple dollars when hurricanes start hitting. Can you imagine the economy then? White House is trying to blame gun crimes on the guns themselves. It's just ridiculous at this point. But the biggest thing is Russia is now moving massive military drills, running drills after Biden pledges, of course, more advanced rockets to Ukraine today. I don't think people actually know what kind of drills were actually happening there, but roughly 100 of their big ICBM missiles on trucks were moved around today and ran these drills, these full drills, including intensive maneuvers. It's crazy that what's happening over there. The exercise, of course, in Avakhan province came after Joe Biden's reveal on Tuesday that the U.S. would provide more advanced rocket systems to Ukraine. More than 100 vehicles were part of the exercise. Of course, Russia said it has no problem using what it needs to defend itself. UK is also poised to defy Russia's warnings and send U.S.-made M270 multiple launch rocket system to Ukraine, which is a longer range weapon, allowing them to strike inside of Russia. Directly what Russia said, that if it happens, it will be a whole big problem. Yeah, Russia's holding nuclear drills. Where is gas 3 something? 389? There's no way the gas is 389. Oh my goodness. You guys are lucky. The UK, of course, is poised to send advanced rocket systems to Ukraine within the weeks. The 270 multiple launch rocket system that we use here in the U.S. roughly only gets about 50-mile range, but put on the border, it could easily take out multiple bases within Russia. I mean, you're only talking 270-something miles to Moscow. So, big problem with that. UK also has the 42 MLRS system, which they said they might be sending as well. If they send that system, that isn't a true long-range weapon system. It is over 600-mile range. It would be a direct violation. Of course, Germany jumping in saying it will send heavy weapons to Ukraine after criticism being held back or holding back the line. Germany said it's happy to send weapons to Ukraine after criticisms for slow supplies. Leaked documents showed it had hardly sent any supplies to Ukraine since March 30th. It's just ridiculous. Of course, this pressure that's being faced on these NATO nations are showing cracks now. NATO nations know what's coming. Ukraine, Germany, everywhere else. And Russia reached, of course, Ukraine's city of industry. They're not even going to back down anytime soon. Russia controls 70% of major province governed and cities of industry in Ukraine. 70%. Of course, chemical plant that got hit today, and they entered, and Sodok and Devon edge closer to climbing a big prize, or claiming a big prize in their offensive in the Donbass region. Russia's moving forward, moving through quickly and swiftly. Yeah, we're giving away our defenses. That's not a question. It is not a question. It shows the ultimate corruption that we are facing here in the United States, the problems, the pressure that is driving our country down. As U.S. Secretary even Blinken said, Ukraine promised it will not use the system to hit targets inside of Russia. But that doesn't stop what we're doing. The original missile system that we were going to sell to Ukraine prior to the escalation with Russia, because Russia escalated due to us going to sell them this weapon. Russia, of course, sent troops to the border there and then ended up going into Ukraine to demilitarize. It's something that's happening quickly. We're going to send the same missile system there after they said not to, after they took over Ukraine basically because of this. And we're going to send it anyways. We're asking for a nuclear war. Of course, the U.S. has no plan. Of course, Americans had held a long respect from thinking about nuclear war. The Cold War ended more than 30 years ago, when the Soviet Union was dismantled and replaced by the Russian Federation and more than a dozen other countries. China at the time was not yet a significant nuclear power. A North Korean bomb was purely I can't even say it's a threat at that time. The fear of the largest war in Europe escalating into a nuclear conflict faded from public mind. Today, the Chinese nuclear arsenal could destroy most of the United States. North Korea has a stockpile of bombs, and the Russian Federation inherited the Soviet nuclear arsenal, has launched a major war against Ukraine. As the war began, Vladimir Putin ordered the nuclear forces to go on heightened alert and warned the West to any influence. Of course, invasion would be consequences that you would have to that you have never experienced in history. Suddenly, the unthinkable seems possible again. As we're facing these problems, there was a time when citizens of the United States cared about nuclear weapons. The reality of nuclear war was constantly present in their lives. Nuclear conflict took an apocalyptic meaning and entered an American consciousness, not only through the news and politics, but through popular culture as well. A lot of movies came back then in 1946. A lot of stuff has changed since then. Now, nuclear war and its terminology, overkill, first strike, fallout. Now people don't even understand what that means. But during the Cold War, there was a thoughtful engagement with nuclear threat. Academics, politicians, activists argued on television and even op-ed pages whether we were safe with more or fewer nuclear weapons. But look at the position we are in today. The press doesn't want to talk about what's actually happening and the global consequences that this will have. The U.S. right now has no plans to use nuclear weapons as a retaliative force, even if nuclear weapons are used. That's an important to know. That's an important factor for people that could easily, one bomb could easily take 40 million lives. $40 million people. I mean, we reflect, of course, on preoccupied with a rogue state of America and terrorism after 9/11. But now we call everybody a terrorist. The littlest incursion of not liking them or not liking what they're doing. Sounding false alarms when people gather in public. Because to defy our government now, in any means, even in civil disobedience, our government is now claiming it's terrorism. As we see people locked up for simply nothing more than trespassing on January 6th, still to this date. There are still people locked up for simply nothing more than trespassing a year later. This is ridiculous. I mean, a lot of people that in the U.S. military, and learned the curriculum of 25 years ago, felt the issue. Its curriculum, it was immediately after the Cold War. It was a lot different. Now the military no longer could even truly yell at recruits. It is a sad world. Biden wants to ban assault weapons. Now listen, what is an assault weapon? You guys can call in, of course, if you want to. I'd be happy to put the number up for the page. But what is an assault weapon? Let's talk about the definition of an assault weapon, because I've seen a lot of definitions come out today. A lot of people talking about this. But I don't think anybody actually knows. Assault weapon is any weapon you use to assault somebody. Any weapon. Whether it be a knife, a gun, a vacuum cleaner. Those are all assault weapons. Assault is nothing more than saying a weapon that's used to attack somebody. And not even a weapon. It doesn't have to be a weapon. A spoon is an assault weapon if it is used in an assault. A spoon is then a weapon. A spoon. This plastic water bottle can become an assault weapon. I know you're having trouble seeing it. There you go. This plastic water bottle, assault weapon. If I physically assault somebody with this water bottle, it becomes an assault weapon. Where do we draw the line? Guns, of course, are in our constitutional rights. They were written there on purpose, as the founding fathers knew government would be the first people that would try to take them. Knowing that we were forming a government, an alliance with the people, for the people, by the people. That's what the Constitution stood for. Now we're watching voters no longer caring if they're going to vote for anybody because they don't even think their vote matters. We see people trying to rip apart the Constitution, standing up there and saying that it wasn't a guaranteed right for Americans to own guns. Guns don't kill people. Exactly. A weapon is nothing more than an inanimate object. It does nothing unless it is in somebody's hands. And first of all, the armor light rifles are not, or AR rifles are not assault weapons. They are armor light rifles. This assault weapons term is nothing more than a term on a weapon that is used during an assault. So it makes really, ugh, it's a ridiculous point of this. Literally watching America fall apart at every turn because our president, our leadership has no longer had any force. We had no decision of course, no wanting to use nuclear weapons, even if we get attacked with them at this point. Russia threatening us directly with Poland, with UK, with Germany, with nuclear threats, saying if those weapons arrive there, we will face these. The weapons are going. The weapons are going. So what's going to happen next? We're going to ban China goods from China too? I mean, I don't know what kind of country we're becoming. But if you ban the goods that you require, I mean, try to find one thing that's not made in, even these plastic water bottles, I don't know if you know, they come in these little tubes, they look like test tubes, and they get shipped to America. They come from China, little tiny test tubes. And they get heated and blown up in a press to make it look like whatever water bottle you want to look like. But it's the same test tube for every water bottle out there. It's the same plastic. And they're produced in China. So your medications, your electronics, the chips may be made in Taiwan, but they're put together in China. Okay, the Constitution was written for Americans to own rifles, even fully automatic rifles, including cannons, even though Joe Biden said not cannons. You could own a cannon. That wasn't a question. You can still own a cannon. That's how illiterate Joe Biden is. But a fully automatic weapon, any weapon the government can own, the people should be able to bear. Because it's not for hunting. That's not the reason the right to bear arms is there. The right to bear arms is against tyranny. Oppression and tyranny of the government against the people. That's the reason. But that's the reason gun rights are here in America. The problem is you make more laws. And you make more laws. And you ban more stuff. The criminals don't care about law. They don't. The people that are going to do bad things are going to get their hands on the things they need to do bad things. And it's going to be something we're going to see no matter what. Hi, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Chris, what's going on, man? It's Billy. How are you?
Crazy times out there. Crazy times watching what's happening around the world.
Yeah, I'm going to discuss with the whole Sussman trial. I mean, what the hell is Dawn thinking that they agreeing to those jurors? Well, why didn't he make a pitch for a different location? I just, this guy Dawn is becoming, you know what? Maybe because he's part of the swamp. He's from the D.C. I don't know if he's from D.C., but
I
maybe
guarantee
he's
the
afraid
Clintons
of.
had some kind of threat or
Or
something
maybe he's
on him.
afraid of you know just burning his bridges by going ahead. Who knows, man? It's just so disappointing. And like you said, this piece of crap person lies to the FBI, and that's a fact that wasn't disputed. But yet you still have people from January 6th locked up in friggin' DC jail, and
Still
nobody
locked
cares
up for
about it.
nothing more than trespassing.
Yeah. Hey,
They're,
so I wanted to say I watched a great movie on Netflix. My brother told me about it, and everyone should look into this movie. It's called The Outpost, and it's it's a movie based on army unit that was in Afghanistan, and they were on this obviously outpost, and it was named after the first captain commander of that unit that was killed there. I think Carrington Outpost. I'm not sure the name or anything, but anyway, what really got me about this was the outpost was on was like at the bottom of this valley, and it was surrounded 360 degrees by all hills and mountain areas. So in other words, like just picture like a giant bowl, turn it upside down, and put like a little grape on the bottom of that bowl. That's the outpost, and the Taliban was all around it, up in the hills and the mountains. And I'm watching this movie, and I'm saying to myself, who the hell in the military had the idea of putting a military unit, an outpost, in a position like this, where you were just so out strategically, it was like so poorly done. Who gave the okay for this? And obviously, the outpost later on, in the movie, it was attacked by hundreds of Taliban. The story turns out that 2 Medal of Honor recipients were awarded for that final battle. I think that unit lost 9 or 10 guys, 20-something injured. And after that battle, the Army eventually they did away with the outposts. But it just goes to show you, Chris, how, and this happened, I think, in 2007 or 8. And there was a scene in the movie where one of the new captains comes on and he's telling the guys, "We're doing good here. We're making progress." And what I thought about was how much the government and the military lied to the American people for 20 years about what was going on in Afghanistan. There was no clear mission. And in this movie, it shows
there
how...
was no clear mission. It was ridiculous. If you were there in Afghanistan, you know it was ridiculous. Countless people were killed for no reason. Over 300,000 innocent people were killed. Because we were going after a ghost. Truly a ghost. Because at that time, we had no clue where they were or what was happening.
But they would have meetings with the locals, and basically they were like paying the locals off. In the movie, it shows them like giving them money for schools and stuff to build, but then they would withhold it if they didn't give them information. But then they also gave money, they brought there was one scene where they brought like this dead girl into the compound. Said, "Oh, look, your mortar killed so and so's daughter," and the captain tells one of the guys, "Oh, I paid him, the money out of the fund." So like if you had like a relative that was killed by the American fire indirectly, they would pay you off right there on the spot. So it's just so much corruption that went on, so much lying, and the American people was so misled. And you know what, Chris? These same idiots who led that war, who were generals and 1-star admirals and 1-star generals and 2-star, 3-4. Those are the same idiots on TV, on MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News, telling the American people the wrong thing on what's happening in Ukraine, saying how Russia's... I heard a guy today on TV saying Russia's pulling out old T-62 tanks out of the museum because they're running out of equipment. What a lie that is.
Russia hasn't even touched any... Literally, I think they've sent 2 of their new tanks in, and one of them took 32 Javelin missiles to even make it stop moving. It didn't blow the whole tank up, which was a huge... Everybody thinks this tank, Russia's new tank, got destroyed. No, it blew one of the tracks off. The soldiers actually kept the tank and actually fixed the track and left with the tank.
Yeah.
32 Javelin missiles, and it blew a track off of one side. But that's a ridiculously armored vehicle.
But like all these retired generals who misled America, made all these poor decisions in Iraq and Afghanistan, are the same idiots now telling us lies about what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. They're telling us Russia lost thousands and thousands of men, more men than they did when they invaded Afghanistan uh, 40 years ago. It's just lies, man.
Yep.
And they're not telling us the real reason why, um, you know, Russia invaded. Have you noticed Russia's not taking any land on the west and the north? It's all the
Well,
Donbass
Russia's going to
area.
take the whole country now. I guarantee
Well,
Russia's going to
probably
push the whole
eventually,
country.
but
If we don't end up, and this is sad to say, with the U.S., UK, and Germany all pushing to send long range missiles now into Ukraine, I have a feeling we will see nuclear war very soon.
well, Sebastian Gorka just said tonight on Newsmax that it's only one missile system they're sending, and it only has like 6 tubes. So it's not like they're
He
sending a
doesn't
whole
know
bunch
what
of
he's
those things.
talking about. We're sending $700 million worth of these missile
Yeah,
systems. Each one of the vehicles holds 6 rockets. It does hold 6 rockets.
yeah.
Um, I think we're sending a couple thousand of the actual missiles, but I think it's 180 something vehicles to get all together.
Hey, could this be a theory that the reason why we're sending a lot of our equipment over there is that so the United States government can open up contracts with the military companies to build more stuff right now for them? Could that be a theory? Like, hey, look, we're low on all our equipment that we're giving to Ukraine, so now we have to open up contracts and we have to have these companies build us new stuff. Could that be a reason why they're so fast in giving away a lot of stuff right now?
It could be. I mean, really, there's a lot of stuff coming up. Um, we look at what's happening in Arctic Circle. We're looking. We're going into summer right now, peak summer. We're looking at a heavy melt this year. So Arctic channels will be opening up. So we want newer weapons being designed and we can buy newer weapons, of course, if we get rid of our older weapons. The problem is there
Yeah,
is no
so
money.
like it's like an excuse. So when they go to Congress, they can say, "Well, see, look, well, we're low on this, we're low on that, and we need the funds. We need this contract for this weapon." I don't know. I was just thinking about maybe that's the whole reason behind all this. I can't see why they're giving away all our freaking equipment. I just don't understand it. To a country that condones neo Nazis and their military, that's a fact. People don't want to believe it. Go look it up. And shame on Rob Schmidt and Newsmax last night. He interviewed Zelensky, and not once did he ask him a question of why does he allow neo Nazis, Azov
Yeah,
Battalion, to be a permanent member of their military. Not once was that brought up. And shame on him. I'm so sick of the whole. The only I'll tell you right now, the only guy I watch right now is Tucker and Greg Kelly. Nobody else. I'm just so sick of them because everyone's they're all the same, all the same. Anyway, have a good night, man. I'll talk to you soon.
yeah. Well, God bless you,
Bye.
man. Stay
You
safe.
too, man. Bye bye.
Yeah, that was Billy. Thank you for calling. We definitely appreciate you guys' calls. But the Second Amendment actually reads a well regulated militia being necessary to secure of a free state, for security of a free state. It's absolutely necessary. The right of the people to keep and bear arms does not say guns, it says any arms shall not be infringed. That is a very important statement. It does not say you can only own this kind of gun. It says any arms, anything used to defend yourself or fight, you have the right to bear as an American citizen, as a right of the people. And that's a very important start for the founding fathers. And they focused obviously on this to keep state militants from being disarmed, from state militias or independent militias from being disarmed. It may not expressly be written an individual has the right to use a gun in self defense, but it is expressly written that every person, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. The weapons of war, then, were greater than most weapons that people had at their houses. Cannons, everything else that were used during the Civil War, that were used before Constitution. The greatest weapons that we had were still being able to be owned freely by the public. It's an important message to understand. The reason is because if the government decides to become a dictatorship and tell you what to do and when to do it, if you're not able to own those same weapons that they had, you can never fight against them. You could never stand against the government or stand against the federal government without properly armed militias. Yeah, cannons were at home in front lawns. There's still cannons in front lawns. It's not illegal to own a cannon. It never was. TNT used to be commonplace in people's houses. They used to use it to remove tree stumps. That was that readily available. People say there's more crazy people. No, there's just more people in the world. And it is sad what is seeing happening. But these mass shootings are coming out of nowhere at a pouring in rate, almost like somebody planned them. I mean, we're having one after another shooting. That's what we see every day now. Where is it coming from? Besides people starving? It's sad watching what's happening. Second Amendment needs to be more broadly interpreted, not just limiting to what kind of gun you can own. It should be interpreted how it's written. How it is written is how you should interpret the Second Amendment. The right to bear arms to protect yourself from the government. You don't understand why Americans need assault rifles. First of all, assault rifles are nothing more than hunting rifles with a top grip on them, or what they're calling assault rifles. So if you don't understand that, you'll never understand. The government is not your friend. The government was made to serve the people, not the people to serve the government. And that's where we have gotten lost so far in the world today. Our government no longer serves the people, we serve it. We are a slave to our government, waiting for the next handout of a check for COVID or to keep the economy in check because they want to print money whenever they want to. It is sad. They want to take away rights that are obviously yours, mine, American rights, freedoms that American people should have. This government wants to control every aspect of your life. And it's coming. They're doing it we're having food crisis, oil crisis. You have to have government handouts in order to even survive at this day and age. Assault weapons are nothing more than a weapon used in an assault. Like I said, this is an assault weapon if I use it to assault somebody. This right here. If I hit you with it, it is assault. This is now an assault weapon. So please, please do not say, but it's an assault rifle. It's not an assault rifle. It was used in an assault. Weapons are used for good, and they're good. Look at what happened in Venice. Venice, yeah, Armor Light Rifles is AR. And a lot of people don't know that. They think AR is assault rifle. It's Armor Light Rifle. And it drives me crazy every time I hear somebody say assault rifle, assault rifle, assault rifle. God bless you guys. Just try to stay safe. I mean, we got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. We got China moving in Taiwan slowly and surely, pushing Taiwan closer to a fight. Assault gun. Jeff, you got it. It's an assault gun. Assault gun. Don't say assault weapon. Say assault gun. Oh, that's great. I'm gonna make a meme with that assault gun. Oh boy. You tripped and hit yourself on the ground? Oh my goodness. But God bless you guys. Stay safe. Of course, Biden officially made the whole month LGBTQ plus G. I don't even freaking know all the letters now anymore. So, but God bless you guys, and thank you guys for your support last month. Of course, we did receive awesome support. I think we raised about a total of I want to say $170 last month. So thank you guys for that. Of course, if you guys can afford to donate, please do. God bless you guys very much, even if you can't. But yeah, 173 people killed by knives. God bless you guys. Good night.